The stage lights blaze down on a small figure walking slowly toward the microphone. His name, Rico Santos, a 34-year-old janitor from Quezon City, Philippines, appears on the screen behind him. The crowd murmurs. He's dressed simply, faded jeans, a white button-up shirt, and worn leather shoes that squeak softly against the stage floor. Compared to the flash and confidence of other contestants, Rico seems almost invisible. Simon Cowell leans back in his chair, arms crossed. "What will you be doing for us today?" he asks. Rico clears his throat, his accent gentle but clear. "I'll be singing. Can't help falling in love, sir." A small ripple of laughter moves through the audience. Another Elvis song, they think. Another hopeful dreamer. Rico smiles nervously, glancing down for a second. Then he takes a breath. The first note escapes his lips, soft, low, rich. The crowd falls silent. Within moments, something shifts. His voice deepens, smooth yet trembling with soul, echoing the exact tone and phrasing of the king himself. The judges exchange stunned looks. Heidi covers her mouth. Sophia leans forward. Simon's eyes narrow, not in doubt, but disbelief. As Rico sings, the lights seem to glow warmer, and the air carries a strange nostalgia. It's as if the ghost of the 1950s has slipped into the room. The final note fades into stillness. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then the audience erupts, cheers, screams, a standing ovation that shakes the theater. Rico's eyes well with tears. He whispers, thank you very much," with an uncanny Elvis drawl that sends shivers through the crowd. For the first time in AGT history, it feels like Elvis Presley has returned, wearing the voice of a Filipino dreamer. The next day, the internet is on fire. Clips of Rico Santos's performance have flooded every social platform: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X. Headlines scream, "Elvis Lives," and "Filipino Janitor Channels the King on AGT." Overnight, Rico transforms from an anonymous dreamer into a global sensation. Backstage at the AGT studio, Rico sits quietly, watching his own video hit 10 million views. His hands tremble as he scrolls through comments. This can't be real. He sounds exactly like Elvis. I got chills listening to him. He blinks back tears. All his life, people told him to be practical, to forget about music and stick to his job mopping floors. But now, even Simon Cowell had called him a miracle. On stage that evening, Rico returns for a special feature interview. The lights dim, and a large screen replays moments from his audition, the crowd's stunned faces, the perfect imitation of Elvis's tone, and that uncanny, "Thank you very much." The camera pans to Rico as he smiles shyly, hands clasped. Terry Crews steps forward. "Rico, people all over the world are saying Elvis's spirit lives in you. How does that feel?" Rico laughs softly. "I don't know if it's true," he says, his accent warm and sincere. "But when I sing his songs, I feel like he's there with me. Like he wants people to remember his heart, not just his fame." The audience sighs, moved by his humility. Simon nods thoughtfully, perhaps realizing they've just witnessed something beyond talent, a spark of the divine. When Rico walks off stage, the band spontaneously plays the opening chords of Jailhouse Rock. The crowd cheers louder, chanting his name. Rico! 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 And in that moment, the world believes, the king truly lives again. Within a week, Rico Santos becomes a global phenomenon. His AGT audition crosses 50 million views, and news outlets from Manila to Memphis can't stop talking about him. Morning shows replay his performance, while fans flood social media with split-screen comparisons between him and the real Elvis Presley. The resemblance, in voice, phrasing, even facial expressions, is uncanny. Across the internet, hashtags trend worldwide, hashtag Elvis Reborn, hashtag Filipino King, hashtag Rico Lives. Music critics debate endlessly. Is it just mimicry, one asks on a talk show. Another replies, no, this man sings with the spirit of Elvis. You can't fake that. In his small Los Angeles apartment, Rico watches the chaos unfold. He sits cross-legged on his bed, still wearing the same worn shoes he auditioned in. Messages pour in, offers from record labels, fan letters, even an invitation to perform in Graceland. But it's the messages from ordinary people that touch him most. One reads, "My grandfather loved Elvis. Hearing you sing made me cry. Thank you for bringing him back." As the media frenzy grows, strange rumors start to circulate. Conspiracy theorists claim Elvis's soul has found a new vessel. Others insist Rico must be a long-lost descendant of Presley. Some fanatics even suggest he's proof of reincarnation. Rico doesn't respond. He simply keeps singing. Late at night, he records covers in his apartment, his voice echoing softly against the walls, pure and haunting. Meanwhile, AGT producers seize the moment. They tease a special Elvis Lives segment for the next episode, promising the world an encore. Back in his room, Rico looks at an old photo of Elvis taped to his mirror. "You helped me find my voice," he whispers. And for a fleeting moment, the reflection almost smiles back. The AGT semifinals arrive, and Rico Santos stands alone backstage, microphone in hand, heart pounding. The crowd chants his name outside, but his mind drifts elsewhere, to the quiet nights back in the Philippines, when he first heard that voice. After his performance, another breathtaking rendition, this time of "If I Can Dream," the audience erupts once more. The judges rise to their feet. Tears glisten in Sophia's eyes. Simon leans toward his mic, voice low but sincere. "Rico, there's something about you that feels otherworldly. I can't explain it." Rico smiles gently, but before he can stop himself, he blurts out, "Sir, I think Elvis talks to me." The crowd falls silent. Cameras zoom in. Even Terry Crews looks stunned. Rico lowers his gaze, his hands trembling slightly. "Since I was a boy," he continues softly, "I used to dream of a man singing in a white suit, telling me not to give up on music. I didn't know who he was until I heard Elvis for the first time. It was the same voice." He glances toward the audience, his eyes glistening. "I don't claim to be him. I'm just a man who feels his soul when I sing. Maybe he's helping me remind people what love and music really mean." The room is utterly still. Then, slowly, the audience begins to clap. A few stand, then hundreds more rise to their feet. The ovation builds, wave after wave, until the entire hall is roaring. Simon nods quietly, visibly moved. "Rico," he says, "whatever this is, divine, spiritual, or just talent, you've touched something no one else has." Backstage, Rico wipes a tear from his cheek. The voice whispers again in his mind, warm and proud. "You did good, son." The America's Got Talent grand finale arrives. The arena is electric, thousands of fans waving tiny Philippine flags and cardboard cutouts of Elvis's face beside Rico's. The stage glows in blue and gold lights, the same hues Elvis once favored. Rico Santos steps out in a modernized white jumpsuit, a tribute, not a copy, embroidered with subtle Filipino tribal patterns that shimmer under the spotlight. The orchestra begins softly, "Love Me Tender." Rico's voice fills the hall, warm, aching, timeless. But then, midway through, the tempo shifts. Drums rise, guitars swell, and a burst of energy ignites the stage as Rico transitions into jailhouse rock. The audience leaps to their feet, clapping, dancing, shouting his name. Halfway through the medley, a choir joins him, blending English and Tagalog lyrics in perfect harmony. It's not just an Elvis tribute anymore, it's a fusion of souls, East meeting West, the past meeting the present. Rico moves across the stage with effortless charisma, every gesture echoing the king, yet entirely his own. When the final note fades, the lights dim except for one golden beam shining on Rico. The crowd is on its feet, tears and cheers blending into one overwhelming roar. The judges rise too, Sophia clapping above her head, Heidi crying openly, Howie shaking his head in awe. Simon simply says, "That was magic." Rico bows deeply, breathing hard, his chest trembling with emotion. "Thank you," he says softly, voice breaking. "Thank you very much." For a brief second, the lights flicker, and some swear they see a shadow behind him. A tall figure in a white suit, smiling faintly before fading into the glow. The audience gasps, then erupts once more. In that moment, it feels certain, the king's soul has sung his encore, through a Filipino heart.